Intimidation comes with a bad rap, sometimes rightfully so. However, depending on the personality type and the underlying motives of intimidation, sometimes it's completely unintentional, and even unrealized at times. So, which personality types are known for being the most intimidating, whether they know it or not? Welcome, or welcome back, psychos! Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Number 1. The Commander ENTJ. If the name doesn't say it all, the ENTJ can be rather commanding. Known as one of the more intolerant and dominant types of the MBTI, ENTJs know just how to use their intimidating characteristics to fuel their efficiency in life. In fact, it doesn't take long for this strong-willed and self-confident type to let others know they mean business, and that understanding rarely fades once you get to know them on a more personal level. With this being said, it's not a surprise that to some people, they can seem seriously overbearing and even ruthless in their expectations of others, and their delivery of such expectations. They prefer to surround themselves with people with similar drive and visions because they rarely make room for other people's input, especially if it's surrounding personal circumstances and preferences. So, while their motivation and ability to get things done in life can already set the bar of intimidation pretty high, their reluctance to consider other people's ideas makes it at times impossible to convince people otherwise. Number 2. The Protagonist ENFJ. Focused on self-improvement and always ready to take on the next challenge in life, the ENFJ rarely runs dry of energy and determination. While they're known for their reliable and charismatic energy, they do have a rep of holding considerably idealistic expectations from those around them. Natural-born leaders, they love to teach others. However, if leadership is required on a topic that they don't believe in, their attempts to enlighten others may come across as slightly patronizing or even condescending at times. ENFJs can get caught up in the idea that everyone shares their same values and beliefs, and if they're proved otherwise, they may do all they can to convince another that they at least should agree with them on some level. Despite their empathetic nature, this can make other people rather uncomfortable when encouraged by the ENFJ to share their own thoughts and ideas, as this type can sometimes come across as a know-it-all. Number 3. The Logistician ISTJ. Similar to their extroverted counterparts, the ISTJ rarely wavers their beliefs from the rulebook. This introverted personality type prides themselves on enforcing and abiding by order, which is rather intimidating for a good portion of the population. Although they seem to remain out of the spotlight, they're extremely hardworking people who don't lose sight of their motivation, despite life's struggles, leaving little sympathy for those who use excuses to get in the way of their success. While they come off as a little more calm and practical in comparison to the ESTJ, the ISTJ's concept of integrity often comes above all else, including other people's emotions and belief systems. This results in a rather stubborn acquaintance that only stops and listens to other people's viewpoints when they are based on the facts of the matter. Not only does this specific quality make it difficult to get them to see opposing viewpoints of a situation, but it can also make it difficult to get them to accept that they were wrong about something, when, in reality, everyone can miss a detail here and there, even the brilliant ISTJ. Number 4. The Campaigner ENFP. The ultimate go-getter with an upbeat approach to life, the ENFP stands out in every crowd. Of course, their natural enthusiasm and good-natured communication skills can make them the least intimidating to some personality types. However, that's not always the case. In fact, the ENFP is the perfect example of how some personality types intimidate people in the least intentional way. Because they're so accustomed to questioning traditions and societal norms that other people often find comfort in, their general unconforming approach to life is what makes them so intimidating to some. They're willing to consider angles and perspectives that others have never dared to imagine before, and because of that, certain people can feel as if the ENFP knows something they don't, possibly the key to living a happy and successful life. Not to mention, their extreme optimism can seem rather illogical in some scenarios, making people question how they even navigate through life with such confidence of future outcomes. Number 5. The executive, ESTJ. Playing by the book and taking things very seriously are some of the known intimidating qualities of this extroverted personality type. By taking things like traditions, rules, and hierarchy very seriously, the ESTJ often demands the respect of their fellow family members and coworkers. It's not to say that they won't give the respect back. However, it doesn't take much for this type to deem another as lazy or in need of a good push in the right direction. This can ultimately create a type of micromanaging energy that can be rather intimidating to work with. In fact, one of the main weaknesses of this personality type is their tendency to be rather judgmental of people and things because of their strong convictions to what is considered socially acceptable. This ultimately leads them to ignore the suggestions of outside-the-box thinkers by automatically confining them to be a nonconformist. Let's just say, most times it's either their way or the highway, and no in between. Number 6. The advocate, INFJ. Constantly observing their surroundings, the INFJ seems to be able to pierce through any soul with just one steady glare. Known for their rather empathetic and caring nature, it often comes as a surprise to them that others would consider them intimidating. Yet, their outer demeanor rarely matches what's going through their minds. Yet, in reality, they prefer not to share what's going on inside their minds, and so they don't take the opportunity to change people's minds. Not only is this introverted type reluctant to open up, but they tend to march to the beat of their own drum by avoiding the considerably mundane and ordinary aspects of life, with one of their main things being to actually take the time to figure people out. They want to know what makes people tick, and they do so by asking rather deep and seemingly intrusive questions, sometimes without stopping and questioning whether someone wants to be figured out or not. It's fair to say everyone has a public and private persona, meaning this directed attention can feel like it's threatening their facade. Number 7. The architect, INTJ. Seemingly serious and mysterious, the INTJ personality type shares similar intimidating characteristics to their introverted, intuitive, feeler counterpart. With an observing and reserved demeanor, it can seem as if they're judging you from afar, and sometimes they are considering their rather critical way of thinking. However, instead of pushing to figure people out, it's often their incredibly vast internal knowledge that can have people feeling particularly nervous around this introverted type. In fact, matched with this foundation of factual knowledge, INTJs almost always have a plan for success, making it difficult to offer advice or opinions that top what they already have mapped out. So, while they don't intend on coming off as arrogant, sometimes they have difficulty taking people's viewpoints seriously when they've already rehearsed almost every possible outcome and the best route to navigate past the obstacles. In the same sense, INTJs are known to be rather unemotional and even inexpressive in their outward behavior, making them seem somewhat dissatisfied, which of course can be intimidating to some. Number 8. The adventurer, ISFP. Fiercely independent and notably competitive, the ISFP can seem seriously intimidating to some people. Now, once you really get to know an ISFP, you'll realize they're actually much more loving and sensitive than they seem on the outside. However, first impressions aren't always their strong suit when it comes to approachability. They're extremely passionate individuals, but tend to keep their opinions to themselves. In fact, when it comes time to share their interests and beliefs, they often talk in a very blunt and direct manner, yet the root of their thoughts comes from a laid-back attitude. This can confuse some people and make it difficult to really read this introverted type. Besides that fact, since they're so attuned to living in the moment full of emotion, they tend to take stressful situations to heart, sometimes shutting down and losing their otherwise charming optimism for life altogether. This unpredictability can make people feel not only intimidated, but also unwilling to challenge them in any way. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, do you agree with this list of the most intimidating types? Is there any type you think doesn't belong? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.